Walker. Over you.
How did I never get a copyright claim again? It's simple enough. Just
Alrighty, hello and welcome everybody. Just give us one moment to start our cameras here. Okay, hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cooking Connected. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Sajwa and today I'm here with Jordan and Chef Jeff.
Hi there.
All right, so we've gone through this in many of our videos, but Cooking Matters is a collaboration with the University of Minnesota Extension. And what we do is we bring 6-week nutrition-based cooking classes that meet once a week for about 2 hours. And in these classes, we'll learn a lot of nutrition tips. We go through a recipe demonstration, we cook together, and then most importantly, we eat together. So we're gonna follow a similar format today with Cooking Connected. Today, we're gonna be doing a zucchini enchilada recipe. But before we hop into today's recipe, I do want to give you guys the program code for this week's survey. And that survey and program code and all the information you need is going to be in the description box of this video. So please check that out. So the program code for this week's episode of Cooking Connected is E102261. Again, that's the program code for this week's episode. We really appreciate any feedback that you guys give us. That helps us just continue this work and improve as we go. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass things off to Jordan and Chef Jeff, and they're going to get us started with today's recipe.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sajwa. Before we get started, we would like to thank the creators of this recipe. So the creator, it looks like Alex Traeger. So thank you so much, Alex, for this beautiful recipe. We're excited to give it a try. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to Chef Jeff for today's recipe.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate that. So yes, zucchini enchiladas. And today's recipe, this is going to serve approximately 5 people. Okay. So we want to turn the oven on to 350 degrees, get that started. And then we're going to start prepping our food. But before we start prepping our food, the first thing we need to do is wash our hands properly, okay? So what we want to do is turn on the water as hot as water as you can tolerate. Rinse off your hands, rinse off the exposed skin, you know, and then get some soap, lather up, go like this. Do this for 20 seconds or singing happy birthday to out loud, really loud, so everybody can hear you. Making sure you get your fingernails cleaned up in between your fingernails. Loosen up your wedding ring. If you're wearing a lot of jewelry, it's a good idea to take your jewelry off because food particles can get stuck in the intricate designs that you might have. Bracelets and watches as well. And then you're going to rinse off and then dry off your hands. Okay, so that's basically how you wash your hands in the food service environment, because cross-contamination and not washing your hands properly is the #1 way people get sick from food. Okay, so cross-contamination and poor hygiene. So please wash your hands.
Yeah.
But today we're going to start off. I'm going to move my camera over here. Let me get that going. Is it on? Oh, this way. How's that? Is it on the stove yet? Yes, it is. Okay. So I got my pan getting hot. Bring it up to about 8, medium high. I'm going to add some canola oil. Get your pan hot first, then you add your oil after that. That way it gives the oil a chance to heat up. And so I've already diced up some onions. And then I've opened up a can of black beans. And I put them into a sieve, and then I washed off the black beans to try to get rid of all that foamy sulfur that's on there. And I've also done the same thing with the corn. This is a canned corn right here, but you can use frozen corn as well. And you can use other beans, the kidneys, or maybe even refried beans, or pintos, navies, anything like that you have on hand. So I'm going to add, got my oil in here, get it hot. Add my onions. This recipe doesn't call for garlic, but you can always add garlic too. I'm going to just add some garlic powder here in a little bit. I've got my seasonings already measured. So we'll cook these onions for a little bit, let them get translucent.
We are using black beans today for our recipe. That is a great addition for some protein. So I don't believe there's any other meat. There's no meat in here, correct, Jeff?
There's no meat in this recipe, correct?
Awesome. So we are having a vegetarian meal today, which is great. So that black bean will add some protein. Other beans you can add, lentils might be a good addition.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this down this way.
We're also
add
yeah.
my corn and black beans. Stir this around. I was a saute cook for many years. So my left hand was holding onto the handle of the pan. My right hand was usually tongs. So I'm used to shaking the pan around and then tossing them up and flipping it around.
All right, Jeff, so what do you suggest for people who want to be able to flip the pan like that? How do you suggest people start?
Okay, yes, start. Make sure you have enough oil, or so it's kind of loose on the bottom, so it slips around like this, so you can practice, okay? And then what I do is I just go like this, okay? I'm kind of going down and then back up. Down and bring it right back towards you, like that. And so you do the same thing with omelets and eggs. Vegetables, meats, pastas, of course. So this is ready to go. I'm going to add, I've got some paprika, some chili powder, cumin, cayenne, garlic powder, and onion powder. And you can use other, you can add oregano to this if you want to. If you have powdered cilantro, some people buy that stuff. You can add some paprika, smoked paprikas, other different kinds of chilies.
Been working on that skill myself, being able to flip stuff in the pan. I can do it a little bit, but I suggest when you start, you put stuff in the pan that you don't care a lot about, just in case it falls on the floor. I know when I started, a lot of the food products would end up on the floor because I wasn't so good at flipping the products in the pan yet.
That's a good point. And maybe just think about these foil balls right here. So put something like this in the skillet first before you use food, okay? And just practice flipping those around. So now I've got a cup of enchilada sauce. Your basic can of enchiladas sauce that you can buy at the grocery store. So we'll add that. Let this cook down. We'll bring this to a boil, and then we'll let it simmer for a little bit. And then we'll work on our zucchini.
So today's recipe, we're using zucchini instead of like a tortilla for our enchiladas. So this is really great because not only are we sneaking more vegetables in, for those of you who perhaps can't eat pasta or don't prefer pasta, this is a really great substitution. And I just love being able to sneak more vegetables in whenever you can. So, you know, we've done zoodles before, zucchini noodles on Cooking Connected. This is just another way you can use your zucchini. I know I've got some zucchini coming in my garden right now. So maybe you have some at the farmer's market or have some in your garden that are almost ready, hopefully.
All right. That's good to go. So I'm just going to turn this off. Okay, so now we will do the zucchini right here. Make sure I get the camera on this. That. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take a vegetable peeler and then make strips across the zucchini. Now, when I was doing this one earlier, I had cut off both ends. So don't cut off both ends. Cut off this end right here, okay? Keep the bottom there. So what I did was I was having trouble holding onto this while I was trying to plane it. So what I did was I just grabbed a toothpick and then ran it through the stem, okay? This way I can hold on to it while I'm, for safety, because I didn't want to slice my fingers. So what you're gonna do is just take your vegetable peeler, and what you can do with this, you might chop this up, use it in a salad, or use it for something else, another vegetable, or you can just add it, chop it up and add it to the corn and black bean mixture.
That is a great tip, Jeff. I love that because you're adding a little bit of fiber as well. So there's a lot of fiber in that outside peel. So adding that fiber back into your meal is a really great addition. And you're not wasting anything, which is awesome too. Decreasing our food waste.
Yeah, avoiding food waste at all costs, really. We've got to do that. So this is a little bit time consuming. And I would recommend getting a larger zucchini, okay? It will be easier in the long run. So I'm just pressing, you know, I'm pressing down pretty firmly so I can get a nice, thick, even cut all the way through, just like that. These are nice and thin and even. So I'm going to do a couple more, so I'll make one up for everybody. I wish I could bring it to you.
We wish that too.
Okay. I think that's going to be enough for right now. Let me get a plate. What we'll do is make them on this plate right here. This is going to be my baking pan right here. It's just an old pizza pan that I had years ago. I'm going to use that. So I'm just making one portion right now for a presentation. So what I'm going to do is, now we're just going to shingle these. Use this one. How's that plate?
That's good.
Make sure I get the camera on it. Sorry. Shingle these.
Yes. So notice he is what he's calling shingling them. So they are overlapping. That's really important. So it stays together.
Yes, so it stays together. Exactly. Let me get a spoon. So now what we're going to do is, you want this about at least an inch away. I'm just going to pick it up and roll it over. Yeah, roll them up really tight. Back together. Okay. This might happen, but that's okay. I'll do one more. I'll rinse my fingers off. That.
Very strategic about your placement with that. And he said an inch away from the end so you can wrap it. And it looks like he's not overfilling either. I've got a nasty habit of overfilling my enchiladas.
Now leave some room on the edges because it's going to spread out. Now, there's that one. Now always fix it over here on the plate. Now always put it right back in there. No worries. Just do it that way. Rinse off my fingers. So now I'm just going to top it. We have some more enchilada sauce. Just going to drizzle some on top of the enchilada. Zucchini enchiladas, just like that. And I've got some cheddar cheese, but you can use, mozzarella or Colby or Monterey Jack by itself, or the pepper jack as well. So then you're going to put these in the oven 375 for about 15-20 minutes. I've got one right here ready to go to show you guys.
Beautiful.
Nice plate presentation.
As usual, beautiful presentation.
Thank you. So I went to my garden today because I thought, well, I need something kind of garnish. And I have some purple kale. So I made some purple kale chips. Just, they're really easy. You just wash them off, take the stems off. I sprayed it with olive oil spray and then sprinkled it with salt. Sea salt is what I used. So I've got some yogurt, some Greek yogurt. Stir this around. A little dollop right there. Some green. Well, decoration. A little bit more. Some cilantro chopped up. And lime. You can add the lime to the vegetable mixture, but I like it right now because it's just going to be that freshness with the cilantro and the yogurt. It'll be so nice and flavorful and make your mouth and brain explode.
Absolutely. Adding a lot of different components there. Don't forget you eat with your eyes too. So making it beautiful like that makes you really want to eat the dish, of course. Obviously, it's going to taste beautiful anyway.
Where's that? Where's that?
Question in the chat here.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking, are there any like zucchini substitutes or other options if maybe you weren't a zucchini fan that would work well with this recipe that you guys can think of?
I think eggplant would be a good
Oh,
substitute.
eggplant's a good idea, yeah.
I've definitely seen like eggplant roll-ups before. You could do this recipe with an Italian inspired. So like I've seen zucchini roll-ups, so it's kind of like a lasagna. Beautiful.
Nice. Very good. And you can adjust the seasoning to whatever you like.
Awesome.
And this is really nice.
Yeah.
Very lean. Only 2 tablespoons of canola oil was used in this recipe to saute the vegetables. So it's low in fat, it's gluten-free, and it's delicious.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff. Well, let's do a quick My Plate recap and talk a little bit about our nutrition education before we leave today. So looking at today's recipe, we've got protein from our beans. We've got tons of vegetables in there. We've also have some dairy from our cheese. So now we're just actually missing our grains and our fruit from our 5 categories on My Plate. So we could add a side of fruit to this if we wanted. As well as maybe some rice might be a good idea. Some whole grain rice might be a nice addition to the side, or maybe even adding into the recipe as well to make a complete My Plate. So before we leave today, we're going to just discuss a little bit. So in previous episodes, we've discussed some other components to leading a healthy lifestyle. We've discussed physical activity, but today we're actually going to discuss the importance of getting a good night's sleep. So getting enough sleep is as important to your health as diet and exercise. According to the National Institute of Health, good sleep improves your brain performance, mood, health, and not getting enough quality sleep regularly, there we go, puts you at risk for diseases and disorders such as heart disease, stroke, obesity, and dementia, according to the National Institute of Health. They recommend that most adults need at least 7 hours or more of sleep each night. So sleep is very important for our health, but there may be a lot of barriers that may be preventing people from getting the good night's sleep that they need for their health. So they give us a few recommendations to help us improve our sleep. The National Institute of Health recommends that we stick to a sleep schedule. So that means going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time to keep that habit regular. Can help you improve your sleep schedule. Exercising every day, but not too close to bedtime, is a good way to help improve your sleep. Try going outside and getting some natural sunlight at least 30 minutes every day. Avoiding nicotine and caffeine, that can keep you awake. They say that caffeine can take up from 6 to 8 hours to wear off completely. So that might be something that might be keeping you up at night. Limit your electronics before bed. So instead of going on your computer, maybe try reading a book, listening to soothing music, or relaxing, doing some type of relaxing activity instead. You can also create a good sleeping environment, keeping temperatures cool if possible, getting rid of sound and light and other distractions, making it dark, and of course, silencing our cell phones. They also suggest not lying awake in bed at night. So if you can't fall asleep after about 20 minutes, they suggest getting up and doing a relaxing activity until you feel sleepy again. Finally, you can, if none of this is working, perhaps you may need to see your healthcare provider if nothing helps, that you try helps to determine if further testing is needed. So there are lots of different ways that this might look different for everyone, but giving these a try might help to improve your sleep schedule. So thank you so much again, Jeff, for that beautiful demonstration. I'm really excited to try this recipe as well. My list just keeps growing every time I watch you cook. So thank you so much for that.
That's definitely true. And I'm curious to try it with eggplant because I don't really know how to use it all the time. So I think this would be a great option to get it in my kitchen. But thank you everybody for joining us for this episode of Cooking Connected. I am going to just give that survey program code again. So the program code is going to be E102261. And thank you again, Chef Jeff, for doing that lovely demonstration for us. We will see you all next week for another episode of Cooking Connected. Until then, bye everybody.
Bye.